Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Bill Rigby, on the Agents of the Unexplained podcast. Find us on Facebook and in the future, YouTube. Hey, everybody. It's me, yes, Bill Rigby. And I got a very special guest for us. And I'm going to let him explain everything's going on with them. I'm not your normal interviewer, but I'll try my best. The, the guest I got here is Daniel Hagman. He's from the Butler area. He is very intelligent, very, very up on everything. And I'll let him introduce himself better. Dan, all you, buddy.
We're doing good, Bill.
Uh, so, tell us a little bit about yourself, Dan.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you. I'm honored to be your first guest on this new venture. And, I'm sure that good things are going to happen from this point. And, again, I'm honored and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. My name is Dan Hagaman, Daniel. I am the director of the Butler Organization for Research of the Unexplained, BORU for short. That's BORU. I've been involved with the group now since about 1979. It started out, it was originally the Butler UFO group, and it was ran by an individual by the name of Carl McAnallen. I've known Carl all my life, and of course, he knows a lot about my background. And he asked me if I would be interested in being co-director, and I said sure. About 1980, late 1982, Carl showed up on my doorstep. He had all his files, a stack of boxes sitting at the door, and arms both just carrying loads of file folders. And he handed them to me, and I said, Carl, what's going on? And he said, I'm getting out of it. And I looked at him and I said, you're getting out of what? And he said, if you want to take over the group, you are more than welcome. If you want to just walk away and the group no longer exists, he said, that's up to you, but you own it lock, stock, and barrel from this second forward.
Wow.
And, he said, well,
All right, he kind of froze up there, Dan. Hello, Dan, you froze.
We back on?
I hear you now. There you are.
In any event, I took over the group, started to have monthly meetings. And of course, we had what I call regulars come. We probably had about 18, 20 people that were regulars. And it got to the point where we started losing people. Each month there'd be a few people less. And I contacted them and I said, what's going on? Well, we don't want to talk about, the same UFO cases. You can only talk about Roswell so much.
True.
And, we want to hear new things. We have people that are interested in ghosts. We have people that are interested in Bigfoot. We have people that are interested in Dogman and cryptids. And I said, okay, we'll take that under advisement. So I thought about it and I thought, well, we got to change the name of the group. The group used to be called the Butler UFO Group. So I sat and I thought for a while and I thought, well, hence the birth of the Butler Organization for Research of the Unexplained. Started having monthly meetings and the membership just grew like crazy. We went from about 18, 20 members a month to upwards 50 plus. And of
That's
course,
great.
each month the number varies, work schedules, time of the year, whatnot. But I think, our last meeting, we had, I think it was like 38 people. And of course, given the time
Ah,
of the year,
nope, I did a count, Dan. I was one
how
of the
many,
ones there.
how
42.
many do you, 42.
40,
Oh, great.
42.
That's
Yep.
better than what I thought.
Yeah.
But
And
in any event, we have monthly meetings. Our meetings are always the fourth Wednesday of each month. And right now, we're kind of struggling for a permanent meeting location. We're currently meeting at the American Legion in Lindora, PA. And of course, information will be able to be viewed via Facebook. The Butler Organization for Research of the Unexplained, we have a group page on Facebook. And of course, we also have a website, and we have an email address that people can get in contact with us via the website. The group has been growing exponentially. We eventually started having annual paranormal conferences. We are actually going
yep.
in next year. Will be our 16th year, and we're the largest and the longest running conference of this type in the tri-state area.
Yes, it
As a
is.
result, of us having our annual conferences, there are new conferences popping up everywhere, all across the country, and I think that's fantastic. You
I'm
got to get the
laughing
word.
because I'm laughing. 1 second, Dan. I'm laughing because it's because of you and your conference as I'm having mine.
Well, that's great. That's
I modeled
fantastic.
mine after you guys. I got to admit it. I'm not lying. Um, you guys are an inspiration to it. So,
Well,
yes.
thank you very much. I firmly believe that we've got to get the word out there.
Yes.
There are a lot of non-believers, that they'll keep an open mind, but they're still on the fence post. It's important to share the truth. It's important to get the word out there. And I can't tell you how many people that have come to me and have said, I didn't believe in any of this, but now I do. And all
Exactly.
we've done is just everybody is entitled to their own opinion. They're entitled to their own thought. And, we just absolutely tell them the truth. And it's up to them to decide if they
Well,
want to believe it or not.
well with all honesty, um, we've had different friends of mine that did not believe at all. They say I'm crazy. And I look at them. Have I ever lied to you? No. So why would I start now? True.
Absolutely.
And on the other ones that were like on the fence, my wife, you know, God love her. She don't believe in Bigfoot, but she believes in that I saw one. And she was totally confusing me with this. And I go, how can you say that you believe I saw one and you don't believe in it? I said, explain that to me because I'm lost on this one. And she goes, you don't lie about stuff like that, but I'd never seen one. Once I see one, I'll believe it. I
Yeah.
went,
There are a lot of people
okay.
like that.
Yeah. And that just blew everything out of the water for me on a lot of these skeptics.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skeptics out there that believe but haven't seen it. So it ain't real. So, yeah, I understand that now. And
I
I
know
agree. I agree with you.
I've met
There's a lot of them coming up and start saying, well, now I believe.
I've met so many researchers in the field that pretty much have been researching the phenomena all their life
Yep.
and have never seen a Bigfoot or have never seen a UFO. And I've actually, in talking with some of them, and they say, I don't even know why I talk about this. I've never seen one. I'm not an expert. Well, there is no expert. We are not experts. We are investigators. We are researchers.
Yes.
Unless you physically have concrete proof, you've got the remains of a Bigfoot. You've got pieces of a retrieved spacecraft. Ironclad concrete proof. You can't say that you are an expert. We're all in a learning process.
And
So
like
we
I
all
told
learn
you
from
earlier,
each other.
like I told you earlier, I'm an infant in all this. I really am.
We all are.
But I am an infant compared. How many years you've been doing it? How many years Brian Seach has been doing it, and stuff like that. Brian and Terry, I love them. They're awesome. And
Good people.
Look, yes,
Good people.
And all these years experiences with you guys. I'm a baby compared to you guys. I'm a baby, and that's what I love about you guys, and I love to hear you guys all the time, and to find more and more info out, and that's what we're all about is learning from each other, and that's what I keep preaching.
Amen.
I keep preaching that. Yeah.
I know I've had people. They say I wished I'd see a Bigfoot. I wished I'd see a UFO. I wished I would have contact with an alien being. And I'll look at them and I'll say, one must be careful what he or she wishes for. You might not like the results.
Yes.
I've been in this a long time. My interest in the UFO phenomena, 5 years of age.
Okay.
I'm 69 years old. So do the math. I've been at it a long time.
Longer than I've been alive. I hate to say that.
One thing that sparked my interest, I've had multiple UFO sightings in my lifetime. My whole entire family have had multiple incidents happen to them. I got goosebumps on the back of my neck, hair standing up on the back of my neck right now. Just recalling listening to some of the things that I'd hear my mother talk about. But for those of you that are listening, if you're familiar with the Betty and Barney Hill abduction incident, was a interracial couple. He was dark skinned and she was light skinned, and they were going home by way of through New Hampshire. And his wife, Betty, she happened to be watching this light, and she called Barney's attention to it. And make a long story short, it was a UFO. It actually came down and hovered in front of their car, and eventually led to them being abducted and taken aboard the craft. They were taken into separate areas, I guess, and they both had bizarre treatment. They examined them. It's just the mother of all alien abduction cases. Right. Their incident actually put alien abduction on the map, so to speak. And
well, with their story too, has never been able to be debunked.
That is correct. That's correct.
All right.
I remember reading the article. They had a big article in Look magazine, and I still have the magazine today. I have it stored away in a filing cabinet. But I remember reading and rereading and reading and rereading that article, and a lot of what they said under regressive hypnosis, it's never ever been able to be disproven. And
Right.
when they were leaving the craft or being taken off the craft, uh, Betty was talking to one of the leaders or the leader, and she saw this star chart or this map that was apparently on the bulkhead or uh, there somewhere. And she wanted to take it with her. And the leader told her, he said, I can't let you take it. And then she tried, there was also a book or something she tried to get, and they wouldn't let her take anything. But while she was under regressive hypnosis, she drew out this depiction of this map that she saw. They didn't really think much of it, and they threw it away in a file for years. And not until we come out with supercomputers, they took that image, they ran it through a supercomputer, and the computer kicked out if you were to take a transparency and lay her drawing down and put the transparency over top of her drawing, it was spot on. Spot on. Now, before we had computers, how would she know this? How would she be able to come up with this drawing? And that just baffled the heck out of them. But over the years, my whole family, we were coming home from my grandparents one time. I always went to the grandparents on a Sunday. That was the day we got together, the whole entire family. We'd go to the grandparents for dinner. And we were coming home. My uncle had a Ford Skyliner, and half the roof from the front seat, the backs of the front seat to the windshield was, I don't know if it was like a Lexan. It was clear. You could look up through the roof. And my uncle's driving. I'm sitting in the center up front. My mom's on the passenger side. My two sisters and my aunt are in the back seat. And my mother nudged me with her elbow, and she said, "Why are you being so quiet?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking at the funny lights." So next thing, they're looking up through the roof, and my uncle's turning the headlights off to make sure it wasn't a reflection from the lights on the dash, and eventually pulled over. And when we pulled over, these things stopped directly above the car.
Oh, wow.
They were two disc-shaped objects side by side. There was a space between them, and you could see what looked like serrated lines that were moving. One object was spinning clockwise, the other one was spinning counterclockwise, and they just looked like like something was on fire, almost like the color of molten lava.
Okay.
And my uncle, he stepped out of the car, shut the car off, and he got out of the car, and he was standing there looking up. And when I first saw these, they were about the size of a saucer from a dinner set. Your dinner plates, and you have the saucers, which are smaller. And as he's standing there watching them, my mom says, "Jack, what is it? What do you think it is?" And he says, "Well, I don't know. Couldn't hear any sound." But the whole entire time they were getting bigger. So whatever it was coming down. He got nervous, got in the car, started the car up, didn't even turn the headlights on, and he peeled out, and we're flying down the road. And in a split second, these things are right above us again, and they're following the car. We get down the road about a mile. He pulled over again. Well, by this time, these things were bigger than an average dinner plate. And you could clearly see there was some type of structure there. Again, they looked like they were on fire. One spinning clockwise, one spinning counterclockwise. And again, he got out of the car and he stood there. And probably a couple minutes, he jumped back in the car and we took off going down the road. And at one point, the road, real windy. We went around a hairpin turn to the left, and then we went into a group of trees, and you could look up through the canopy of the trees, and you could, where the openings
Right.
were, you could see these things were still above us. And then it got to the point where the trees on both sides of the road completely covered the sky. And when we come out to where we had open sky again, they were gone. We have no idea where they went. We went home. My mother got us off to bed. My aunt, my uncle, and my mom, they stayed up all night talking about, well, what do you think this was? And do you think we should call somebody? And do you think? And here was about 2 nights later, it came out in the Butler Eagle. Several northern area residents startled by unknown.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I was very young. Then we had the Betty and Barney Hill incident. Another incident was on a weekend and was right after a bad storm, and you couldn't see any blue in the sky, just big billowy gray puffy clouds, and it was dusk. And I was sitting out on the sun porch, and all at once, it just like a flash of a camera, and you look up and you can see a light going through, zigzagging through the clouds. Big flash. I thought, well, what is that, lightning, or, what is it?
Right.
You'd see, first it was 1, then it was 3, then it was 2, then it was 3, and it was just like a revolving spotlight. So I went and I asked my mom to come and take a look, and, she was taking a bubble bath. And she said, I'll be out when I'm done. And I went back out on the porch and I sat there, and, this went on for about probably 20 minutes. Couldn't see any craft, but you could see this tremendously bright white light or lights zigzagging through the clouds. Then again, next night in the paper, there was a report about a UFO sighting over Butler. And then, I've had bizarre dreams all my life. I call them virtual dreams. Everybody dreams, or you have a dream that you wake up and you say, gee, that seemed so real.
Exactly.
You'll get up, get a drink of water, or maybe go to the potty. You go back to bed, and as soon as you drop off into a sleep, that dream picks right up where it left off. And I've had some dreams that up until recently, different speaking engagements that I've had, I've been able to talk about it. It's difficult to do so. Some I can't bring myself to tell anybody. But one of the dreams was I wake up, like I come out of the.
Oh, you froze up again, Dan. All right. I want to hear about this dream. All right, Dan. Hopefully you get back in here. So far, very interesting. I don't know what to say. I want to hear more about this dream. This is because I've had some realistic dreams and actually went back to sleep and it kind of finished on out. And those ones kind of
back up. But in any event,
there you are. No video, but we got a voice.
I come out of the shower, my clothes. I'm just and the dream. What it consists of is everything is black, but there's tremendously bright white piercing light, and it's spinning, and I'm being drawn to it. And I'm fighting with every ounce of my strength, every ounce of my being to get away from this light. And I've had people that have listened to me, and they say, if you dream about it, allow yourself to be drawn into the light. And can't explain it. Just a dream that it really bothers me when I have it. Another dream that I have, and I still have today, is I'll wake up and I'm lying on a metal table, and the table is slightly elevated, and I can't move. It's like I'm paralyzed. Uh, I can lift my head somewhat, and I can look around, but I can't, can't physically can't get up off this table. And out in front of me, from the floor ceiling, wall to wall, is a massive, massive control panel. And there's all kind of blinking lights, and there are these beings that are standing there. They have their back to me, and they're manipulating these controls. And I'm screaming at them. And I mean, screaming to the point to where, I'm almost to the point to where I can't talk. I'm so hoarse.
Right.
But they don't acknowledge me. It's like they can't hear me, or they're just blatantly ignoring me. And at one point, I pass out, and then when I wake up, I'm in bed. And I can't tell you how many times I've had that dream. It repeats itself. And like I said, I've had it throughout my life. I still have it today.
Yeah. That's kind of weird, because Angel, ghost chicks, she's watching, and she said, see, I'm not crazy, because she has those types of dreams too. And I've had dreams similar, and I can't figure out what they mean and why I'm dreaming it. I don't go to those dream books. You got 10,000 different dream books you can look up, and it gives you a different explanation for each one. So I try to figure out in my head, and I can't figure it out.
Well, no, I tell people, I'm constantly telling people, keep a journal on the nightstand beside your bed. And if you wake up and you have one of these dreams, before you lay back down, jot down as much as you can humanly possibly remember. Write it down. Do this religiously. It might seem like a bunch of gibberish right now, but it's like putting the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle together. And eventually it's going to form a picture and possibly help you understand what's going on.
Yes, you're 100% right.
I do that religiously,
I do that with my Bigfooting too. I got a journal for that. Especially in the one area I micro study. I notate everything, on that. So
that's important.
Yes. But you're right. We should have a journal to keep track of that. See, I don't have those dreams that often. It's like once in a blue moon. So, and most of my dreams I don't remember. So
I've had a lot of people tell me that I should go ahead and go under regressive hypnosis. Half of me is ready to. The other half, I'm kind of torn between doing it and not doing it. And I met the woman has since passed away, but I met a woman years ago. And she told me, she said, continue doing what you're doing, because it will bring you up to speed and help you realize, and, the answers will come. But I used to go to a meeting up in Greenville. A woman used to have monthly meetings up there. And one of my friends, he died of mysterious circumstances, but we'd get together and we'd go to the meetings every month. And through going to these meetings, the woman that held them, her name was Sharon. And she called me up and she said, from prior meetings that I'd been to, and, standing up and telling people who I was and about different things that I've had happen. And she had this woman that she wanted me to meet. And the woman was, I guess, a world-renowned psychic, clairvoyant, whatever you call them.
Right.
I never met the woman before, but in any event, this particular night that we went, we're in this gigantic, they called it a great hall. And it was a church school combination. And when you went in, you went through 3 sets of, I guess, like you call them vestibules.
Right.
You go through a set of doorways, go through another set of doorways, go through another set of doorways, and then you get down this real long, narrow hallway into this great room. And when you walked in, over to the left, from the floor, ceiling, wall to wall, was all natural stone, and it was a big fireplace. And they had these, I don't know if they were 10-foot huge sofas sitting around and lounge chairs in front of this fireplace. Then on in over to the right, they had 8-9-foot banquet tables, and they were set up in a rectangle. So you had 5 banquet tables, then you had 2 banquet tables come off of that, and then come back 5 banquet tables, and then a couple more, made a big rectangle, put chairs all the way around it. And I was sitting at the very far end on the corner. And this woman, she was old, she was frail, and of course she had to have assistance getting around. And I learned this later on. I didn't know this at the time, but when she came into the hall, as soon as she came through the first set of doorways, it was like she was overcome. And they had to have somebody on either side of her to help her come in. And she said the closer she got to the meeting room, the stronger this feeling overtook her. Never met the woman, didn't even know what she looked like. And the minute she walked through the door, I immediately looked at her. She looked at me. We made eye contact. And she come over and, Sharon said, "This is the lady that I want you to meet." And I put my hand out, and she took and clasped my hand between her 2 hands. And it was almost like her eyes were burning a hole through me. It's the only way I can really explain it. First thing that come out of her mouth, she's looking at me and she said, "You have been taken 23 times.
Wow.
And that freaked me. That literally freaked me out. And I said, "What do you mean I've been taken 23 times?" She sat down beside me and she said, "I was overwhelmed when I came into the building." She said, "When I came into the hall, I immediately noticed your aura." Now, we all have what they call an aura around us.
Yes, we do.
And she said, "Your aura is shrouding 5 or 6 people on either side of you." She said, "It's tremendously huge." And she said, "You have a protector with you. They're right behind your left shoulder." Well, naturally, I turned and I looked, and I'm looking at the wall. And she said, "Your aura is bright blue, brilliant blue." And she said, "That's good. That means that's good." And all this stuff she's telling me, but all I could concentrate on was, "What do you mean I've been taken 23 times?"
Yeah. Now you got my attention on the wrong thing here.
According to her, I've been abducted 23 times.
Right.
Now, please understand, I'm not telling everyone I've been abducted. I don't know that I have. But all the signs lead toward abduction.
Right.
I've got scars on my body. No idea how they got there. I've got something in my right leg down on my shin. And of course, I've had both my knees operated on each 3 times. So, of course, I've had a lot of those X-rays where they run you through the magnetic thing. I can't
Yep.
think of what they call it.
MRIs, CAT scans, and
Yes.
MRIs.
Thank you.
Yep.
And they're showing me the X-ray in the doctor's office, and the doctor says, "What'd you do to injure your leg?" He said, "I'm kind of baffled. I don't see any scars." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he's showing me there's something in there. And he said, "When we have you on the table and you're under," he said, "I can take that out if you want me to." And I said, "Well, whatever it is isn't bothering me. I'll leave it up to you. If you think it should come out, by all means, take it out. If not, whatever it is has been in there. I'm not worried about it." But they have no idea what it is. And again, the dreams, just absolutely bizarre. How many of you out there do you know what or who Electrolux is? The old sweeper.
Sweeper,
company.
yeah.
And I think they're still in business today. But my mom told me she had scheduled the guy to come give us a demonstration on the sweeper. And I think I was maybe 8, 9 years old. And she said, "I want you to be on your best behavior," because I guess I was kind of a hellion. And, we've had these bizarre things happen and different sightings.
Uh-oh. I just lost Dan. Let me do this again. Hang on, folks. See if I can find them. I don't know what happened. What happened there, Dan?
I don't know. It just everything, the screen blinked and
yeah, he's using.
And
it's like, okay. Yeah, I sent you another invite too. I'll hurry up and jumped over. But
nevertheless, this guy comes and he starts taking out the hoses. Excuse me. Of course, he's flailing these hoses around, and I freak out. I get back into the laundry room, and we had a hot water tank in the corner. And I, pudgy little fat kid, I wedged myself between the wall and the hot water tank in the corner. And I crouched down, and I stayed there until the guy was gone. And of course, different dreams I've had, it just absolutely freaked me out. My mom had to call and have a plumber come to disconnect the hot water tank, completely unhook it, and move it so I could get out from behind it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but just crazy, crazy stuff. April 1st, April Fool's Day. And of course, this wasn't an April Fool's prank. 1982, April 1st. I was living on Route 38 north of Butler. And some friends of mine had come over for the evening. I was laid off. My daughters were still in diapers, still infants. And his wife was pregnant with twins. And they come over. We were going to play some games, play some cards. And my wife, she had the girls in the bathtub, giving them a bath. And Howard's wife back there, talking with my wife while my wife was, washing the kids. I had a CJ5 Jeep that I had done all kind of work on. And, Howard wanted to see the work that I did. So, put my shoes on and we went to go out. I went to step down off the back steps and he grabbed me by the back of my arm he grabbed me so hard and so tight, he left the perfect imprint. He bruised my arm, left the perfect imprint of
Oh,
his
wow.
fingers, and and he said, "Dan, excuse my French, but I'm quoting, what the hell is that back there?" Now, when you come out my back door, you went down 4 steps, but probably about 30 yards out, we had a big garden. Landlord that I rented from, his wife trained horses. And beyond the garden was a huge horse corral. Then past it was a little bit of a wooded area, followed by another gigantic horse corral. Then his house was situated in there, a big open field, and a horse corral out on the other end of that field, probably 1.5 times the size of a football field, to give you visualization of length. And then a very large wooded area. Whatever this was just down below the tops of the trees. Sky was pure blue. Wasn't a cloud in the sky. The wind was blowing like crazy. And when you looked up at this thing, you had to literally put your hand in front of your face to shield your eyes because the light was so tremendously bright. And I turned and I said, I don't know, Hod, maybe he put a new dusk to dawn light in because, his wife trains these horses. Started to walk out around the corner of the garage, and I thought to myself, no, wait a minute. That's no dusk to dawn light. It'd be too high for that. So he joined me, and we went out around the corner of the garage, and I pulled the hood pins on the Jeep, lifted the hood up, and I walked around, opened up the door, put the keys in. I was going to start the Jeep up, and he never stopped looking at this thing. But by this time, it was well above the tops of the trees. Now, I don't know if you could attribute that to this thing being in the distance, and as it was coming toward us, made it appear like it was down below the tops of the trees, and then eventually, above the tops of the trees. But it was well above the tops of the trees at this point. I started the Jeep up. The very second I started the Jeep up, he went, whoa, 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 look at that, look at that. And I looked up, and this tremendously bright white light changed to a translucent, milky kind of orb looking thing. And you could see what looked like a metallic structure inside of this bubble or orb. And I go, well, that's weird. And I shut the Jeep off, and I'm standing there looking up at this thing. And the very second I turned the Jeep off, this thing got real bright again. We're standing there watching it, and we started walking out through the yard, and we got back, about halfway alongside my garden. And this thing is looking up at it, would probably be at about a 45-degree angle looking up. You could clearly see it was a solid structure, solid object. It was triangular shaped. And the best way I can describe it, and the best way to give you size, for those of you that have ever shot pool, you know what a pool rack is. That's the thing you put the balls in, triangular shape. If you were to take that rack and hold it up at arm's length, that's how big this thing was. So whatever this thing was immensely huge. There was a light on each corner in the back and one in front. And they weren't blinking like navigation lights on an aircraft. They were pulsating erratically. All of a sudden, it looked like a blanket of cobalt blue glitter coming out the back of this thing. And we're standing there looking up at it, and it literally looked like glitter falling to the ground. As soon as that stopped, this thing started to move. It wasn't moving fast enough to be a plane, And however it was staying up there just absolutely blows my mind because it wasn't moving fast enough.
Right.
We followed it and we started getting to the point to where my driveway was, and this thing stopped. Now, at this point, we're standing right underneath it. We're looking directly up at the bottom of this thing. And these lights, they're pulsating. At that point, I told Howard, I said, don't take your eyes off of it. And I ran into the house. Well, prior to Howard and Terry getting there and my wife putting the girls in the bathtub, had a 35 millimeter camera that I had been taking pictures, loaded up, full roll of film in it, and a VHS camcorder with a brand new magazine in it because I had been taking videos of the kids playing, sitting on the dining room table. I go in past the dining room, and as soon as I rounded the corner to go back the hall, I happened to notice the TV. There wasn't a picture on the TV. It was just a kaleidoscope of colors. And they were waving and wiggling back and forth. The lights in the house were kind of like dimming, like as if there was a power surge. Ran back into the bedroom and I said, their bathroom, and I said, you guys got to come and see this. You got to come and see this. And my wife says, Dan, I can't leave the girls unattended in the bathtub. Terry says, I'll come. That's Howard's wife. What do I grab? A pair of binoculars and a telescope. Honest to God, Bill, I kick myself in the rump every day because I didn't grab the camera or the camcorder.
Your mind's not thinking.
We go out, I throw the binoculars to Howard. Did you ever try taking a telescope and trying to focus it? And it's impossible. I threw it down on the ground, not realizing Howard had the lanyard to the binoculars around his neck.
Oh, no.
I reached up and grabbed the binoculars, and I pulled so hard I about took his head off his shoulders.
I knew that was coming. I'm sorry. I'm laughing.
We're standing
That's something
there.
I would do.
The lights on the bottom of this craft just absolutely went crazy. Now, the front light and the back two lights, equally spaced between them, you could see crescent-shaped openings on the right and the left side. They eventually opened up into full circles, and you could look up inside this thing. And you could see two metallic spheres, and probably a little bit bigger than a Volkswagen Beetle. And all around it was the goldest color of gold you can imagine. These spheres dropped down out simultaneously. They dropped down below the main craft and they bobbed up and down real slow while these openings closed. The one on the right looking up started spinning, and sparks started flying out from what you would determine the center portion of this sphere. Looked to the left to see what the left one was doing, and in the blink of an eye, one shot north, the other one shot south, and it was simultaneous. Once they were out of sight, the main craft, it did a hard zigzag to the left, kind of like a 90 zigzag to the right, and shot straight up until it was gone. And it did that in the blink of an eye. There was no sound that emanated from the main craft or either the spheres that dropped down.
Other than the sparks, did the spheres have any other color going with it other than the gold coming out?
Very, very silver metallic. You know, it almost looked like polished silver.
Okay.
I don't know how many miles away from where we were, but there's a community called Karn City.
I know where that's at.
The residents in Karn City reported the opposite of what I just stated. they saw these spheres come in, and they were kind of like chasing one another, darting around one another. And all at once, they come into a stationary position, started bobbing up and down real slow, and this main triangular shaped craft appeared out of nowhere. The openings opened up. They went up inside the craft. The openings closed, and this thing, boom, gone in the blink of an eye. There's a road. It's called Route 138. It comes from West Sunbury over to 38.
Yep.
It's a hilly, windy road. In an area church, they have a bus that goes around and picks up, their attendees, and then will take them back after services. They happen to be on their way back. The bus driver pulled over off the road. Everybody, including the bus driver, got out and witnessed the same chain of events that I just described.
Oh, wow.
Consequently, the next day, I get up. It was like I had a sunburn. My eyes were all like bloodshot. And I really didn't feel real well. Howard and his wife, same thing. She miscarried, lost the twins. They later attributed that to radiation. After this all happened, Howard and I, we scoured the area looking to see if there was any of that cobalt blue glitter come down to the ground. We couldn't find anything. The next day, it had been 2 days after it happened, I went over to his house, and I said, do you hear anything? Did you happen to talk to anybody that may have seen what we saw? He says, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe just let it go. I said, well, Howard, can I use your phone? And I called the Butler Eagle. Now, he lives in West Sunbury. I'm driving the CJ5 Jeep, and I've got to cross over 138 to get to 38 to go north to where my house was. Lady said, well, what's your name? And I told her. I said, I'm calling to find out if anybody reported the UFO sighting from 2 days ago. She said, let me have you talk to somebody. And she laid the phone down, and the guy come to the phone, and he said, who is this? And I gave him my name, and he said, where did you see this? And I said, well, it was at my house. And I told him where my house was. Now, this guy's at the Butler Eagle. And if you know the area, you know the train. My house, if you know where North Washington is, my house was 3 miles north of North Washington. Guy said, would I be able to come to your home and interview you? I can meet you there. And I said, well, I'm not at home right now. It's going to take me a little while to get there. He said, I'll leave now and, I'll get there. Told me what he was driving. So I said, Howard, you coming with me? No, I don't want no part of it. Just leave me out. I left, got in the Jeep. I drove as fast as I possibly could. If you know anything about a CJ5, they're known to, roll over easy.
Yep.
I left Howard's house. When I pulled into my driveway, that guy from the Butler Eagle was already there. So, man, he had to fly from Butler. I did an in-depth interview with him. He had me draw a depiction of what we saw. He brought a Geiger counter out and some other equipment. He's walking all around the area.
Oh, no, he froze up again. Dan, you froze up again. Oh, no.
There, we back?
You're back.
Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. But anyway,
All right.
He interviewed a lot of the area residents, and that led me to fill out a questionnaire by a gentleman by the name of Stan Gordon. And Stan Gordon he sent that document. They sent it through a nationwide computer, and the computer kicked it out as a true unknown. And I guess as it turns out, from Maine to Florida, they had over 38,000 reports of the exact same incident I described.
Oh,
so
wow.
A lot of people saw this.
Now, when you froze up, you was talking about the Geiger counter.
Uh-huh.
What did it have any readings on it or no for radiation?
Yeah, he really didn't say. He just said that his findings were inconclusive.
Okay.
But just I'm a veteran. I served aboard the USS America aircraft carrier, United States Navy. I'm a former police officer. I used to be the chief of police for the borough of Eau Claire. I've done a lot in my lifetime. And my experience with aircraft that I worked on aboard the America that I'm aware of, we don't have anything like that. We don't have anything that can maneuver like that. The G forces would literally turn a human being, would turn a man to a bag of mush.
Exactly.
And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt what we saw that day is extraterrestrial.
Back in the mid-70s, I was in school. It was a spring day. We're out at the bus stop in the morning. Beautiful morning. Didn't even need jackets. I can't remember exactly the date, but look up. We see this thing flying up on the hill at least a half a mile from us. And it's a flat, round, disc-shaped thing. And being that far away, I couldn't judge how big it really was. Well, the guy that lived up there, about halfway up the hill, which was about a half mile from us, got his camera, took a picture of it. Where we lived was Old Route 18, south of Newcastle.
Okay.
Called Willow Grove. It's near Wampum. They had the old sand plant there. It's gone. Yeah, most of the houses are gone that was down in there. Ours burnt to the ground. So, and I miss that area too. It's a nice small community there. But the thing is, us kids seen it. We run in, and I tell my mom, she says, you didn't see nothing. You don't say nothing to no one, nothing. Well, he took that picture of it. He turned it into Newcastle News, Youngstown, WKBN. They brought reporters out. Government officials come out. And then they're trying to say it was a metal trash can lid he threw in the air.
Yeah, right.
Okay, how could I see a metal trash can lid thrown in the air a half a mile away? Yeah, come on. And my mom said, see why? We told you not to say nothing. Look, everyone's making him look like an idiot. And I'm not having our family put through that. Okay.
I think back in the, I'm going to have to pull the files up. The computer that I'm having trouble with, that we were talking about earlier, it's on there. I wish I could pull it up here, but back in the 70s, and I believe it was Willow Grove, there were two police officers that lived in the same community. They were neighbors. They worked the graveyard shift.
They lived across 18 from us. I know who you're talking about.
They get off in the morning. They commuted to work together. And as they were coming into the area that they live in, this UFO was hovering directly above one of the officers' home. And there was a big article that was in the paper that same night. We had an incident. I was telling my mom about it, and of course, my sister, they're rolling their eyes and
Right.
poo poo ha ha, how they do. My mom said to my sister, it was every year for Thanksgiving, the family would get together, either my sister's house or my house. Most of the time, it was my house. And my mom said to my sister, where's that new newspaper article? I want your brother to read it. Because I had been telling them about a incident that I had had. And here it was, the article was about these two police officers. And the incident that I had happened the exact same time that they had their sighting. It was on the same evening leading into that morning. And very well documented sighting. But
You got a copy of that in your files?
I certainly do. If you'd like to have a copy of it, yeah,
please,
absolutely,
please.
absolutely.
Yeah, oh my God, that's gonna make it awesome. I've been looking for something, some kind of reference to that.
I read that article.
Uh,
Believe me, I about soiled myself.
I got tears in my eyes from that because I feel like an idiot trying to explain it to people. Oh yeah, right. Okay, you got no proof, but I know it was in the Newcastle News newspaper,
Absolutely.
WKBN, and I've been telling people this, but I still feel like an idiot. Hello, Norm Domick.
Hey, Norm, how you doing? It's amazing.
I feel kind of vindicated right now. Yeah, I really do.
Have people come up to me all the time and, hey, I want to tell you about something I saw or tell you about an incident that my family had. And then I'm going to go on about my business.
Right.
But you would be surprised the sightings that people have had that just simply won't tell anyone about it. It's amazing.
Not just with UFOs, it's with ghosts.
Absolutely.
Angel, God bless her, man. She's been doing this for years. She's just been up in Gettysburg for 2 weeks she's got all kind of stuff going on. Bigfoot, Dogman. People don't really want to talk. And thank God for the internet now. Yeah, I'm going to get on this soapbox again. I don't care for the internet, but the internet has brought a lot of this to the forefront.
Amen. It has.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful for that. We're actually getting the word out there through the internet.
Oh, yeah.
People are not afraid to talk behind a keyboard. Yeah. And then again, we got the trolls, as we call them.
Oh, yeah.
And believe me, I have fun because you know that I'm an admin on Mary Fabian's Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. We boot them out as quick as we find them. We don't even give them a second chance.
Yeah.
They're gone. We don't let them beat on anyone. And there's times we're not on right away. All they got to do is click on those 3 dots and report them. And as soon as we get on, we see something reported, bam.
Yeah,
not just me, different admins and moderators. And they will jump right on it. And they got their kicking boots on, man. I'm telling you, we don't play with them. And there's a lot of people in that group. No.
What we do, we take very seriously.
Yes, we do.
And, I've had people say, well, I'm afraid you're going to laugh at me. Trust me. I'm not going to laugh.
Yeah.
I've had some really off the wall reports from people. I had a guy call me up 3:00 in the morning. And
Dan,
yes,
you can't read this through here, but I will show you this the next time I see you in person.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. This is a Bigfoot sighting, two of them up in around Indiana, Cambria County. The guy, when I spoke up at Punksy, him and his wife was there in the audience. As soon as I come down off the stage, boom, he ran up to me. He says, I don't do the internet, but I got this report right here, and I got the map right here where the sightings was. I says, I really want to talk to you. Can we talk over there at my tent where I'm set up? Because I want to go talk to this people right over here first. And then we can talk. We can sit down, talk, and discuss this. I really want to know this. And I get that a lot, not just him. See, he sent this report to Stan Gordon.
I see.
Yeah, and it's a letter, and he wrote it all out. But he brought the map with him, and he had the marks on it. And I go, I know those areas because I have property in Indiana County, and I traveled that way on those roads. And I went, yeah, I know exactly where that creek is. That hairpin. I know where that's at. And so he got all excited. I said, there's some way you can get me a copy of these. He goes, yeah, I'll make a copy and mail it to you because I don't do the internet. He says, I don't do. I says, how did you hear about this? He says, the newspapers.
I'll be darned. Yeah.
The guy's in his 70s. Okay. God bless him. He mailed it to me. I got it this past week. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And, Punksy was last month, and I just got it this past week. Well, this week here, actually. And I was all excited that he actually mailed it to me. And, and I have different people come up and talk to me now about it. I'm getting kind of well known in this area. And people come up and says different stuff to me about the paranormal, the cryptids, the whole 9 yards. And I'm so glad that I'm taking notes on this. Sometimes it's mental notes till I get home so I can write it out.
Yeah.
I posted on it's a Mercer County history and legend page that for my group here to Unexplained. And a lady messaged me. 1962. She's a teenager. Bigfoot walked in front of them as they're coming home from skating, ice skating. He's coming home between Mercer and Greenville, PA. And she described it all to me. And her parents said, you didn't see nothing. You're not saying nothing. Back then, of course. This is before Patty even. So I'm like, wow. You know who I had to share that with? Brian and Terry and Jamie and Jenny, man. Boom, I had to share that with them. Well, Jamie, this is mainly his area too. But I had to share that with them. And I was doing a radio show on WPIC. I'm being interviewed. And I knew that was coming up. I asked her if I could share this story. I said, I won't use your name or exact area, but can I share it? She says, yes. We need to get the word out there. People got to start believing.
Oh, absolutely.
I went, thank you. So, and it's just awesome. Yeah. Even the older generation, as I call it, are coming forward. The younger generations, they're coming forward. We met a young gentleman down in Homewood, down in Beaver Falls, Homewood Festival this weekend. He was into the paranormal. Now he's into looking for Bigfoot. Well, me and him's going to get out together, and I'm going to show him how I look at things. And I want to see how he looks for things. And, young guy in his 20s. That's awesome. They're getting into the phenomenon.
That's great.
And it is a phenomenon. It's really growing. The more people get into it, and relay what they find and share their knowledge. We're going to find something out soon.
Well, no, I run across people that, they'll say, we're going camping this weekend. I'm going to take a gun out and I'm going to shoot a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I just, it blows my mind. I just can't understand why people are so quick to want to destroy what they do not understand.
Exactly.
And I said, why would you do something like that? Oh, I want to shoot one to prove that he exists. And I said, trust me, you shoot that thing, all you're going to do, excuse my French, all you're going to do is piss it off. And
Big
then
time.
you may not be no more. And he just kind of
There's
sat
one.
there. He
If
thought
there's
about
one, there's
You know?
one. There's at least two. I'll
Yeah.
guarantee it. I'll guarantee it. Yeah. I don't know, but I'm guaranteeing it. You know,
I think it's important that groups such as ours are good, share the information and bring it to the public. The word, we have to get the word out there because the government sure isn't going to tell you the truth.
no, they're not. And the other thing too, like the UFO UAPs, I still call them UFOs. I don't care. The unidentified aerial phenomenon. No, they're UFOs. Um, I got a problem with that for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's my old age, but what the government released is a fraction, a small fraction of everything they got. I know this.
Absolutely.
I know this. And they're not going to release any pertinent information. They're just going to release stuff that everyone already knows.
Amen.
And I wish they released more that we don't know. Norm. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Let me read these. Angel goes, people are chicken and stupid. Norm goes, it boggles his mind how people want to kill a living thing, prove that it was living. That's true, Norm. You two are both right on both aspects. And then Angel even writes, I love it when I take people looking for spirits or ghosts and they run as soon as we get the first blip. Well, Angel, I got to tell you a story later. Actually, she don't know yet, but she's going to be on one of my podcasts. Hey, this woman's phenomenal. She really is. And she's fun to watch. The other thing is, people do. They're just like my sighting. Why didn't I get a picture? Well, number one, yes, I went to a hot spot where Bigfoot's known to be, Salt Fork State Park. Number two, everybody and their brother knows it's a hot spot, so they're going to be in the woods. I don't expect to see one. Yeah, I saw it. 15 feet to the right of me, it was. And I tell people, like you said, Dan, watch what you wish for because it might come back and bite you.
Amen.
It came back and bit me because it was that close. And I'm not afraid of nothing in this world. I thought nothing. I'm ex-military. I fought all my life. I walked in the middle of a street gunfight twice to save people. I didn't care if I was going to get shot or not. I got shot once and took the gun off the guy and beat him with it. I don't care. I was just a crazy guy thinking I'm superhuman. But as soon as I saw that 15 feet from me and saw the muscle tones, the structure of it, and it was knelt down like I was because I knelt down on the trail. I had a scope. I'm adjusting, looking down the trail, and out of the corner of my right eye, I saw a movement. just a small movement. So I turned and looked like this, still holding on the scope. Scope's going this way. I'm looking this way. Now, and I'm still adjusting as I'm looking at it. The Bigfoot. It's like, uh, 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 uh. So I stood up and I started backpedaling quick. And Debbie Preggy was with me, and Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett's from down around Conshohocken. It scared the living hell out of me. It really did. And I'm running backwards to them, yelling, "Get some lights in there because it's getting dark." And as soon as I got back to Mike and Debbie, Mike goes, "I just saw Bigfoot's ass."
Yeah.
Because it stood up, and I saw where it stood up next to that tree, and it turned and went down over the hill. It was about 7 foot tall. The reason I'm saying about, because like I said, I looked about where it was on that tree. Next day, a group of us went back there because I wasn't going myself. A group of us went back there and measured up the tree. It was about 7 foot. I know it was about 4 foot wide. Had no neck. It was all trash pieces. Had the big head. It wasn't conical. It was more rounded than conical. Had the big boxer flat nose. I couldn't tell what color eyes because I wouldn't stare in the eyes. And I'm looking at the body as I'm backpedaling, and I'm thinking this thing could kill me.
Yeah.
Right now. And I got no defense. Yes, I will come hunting with you, Angel. But the thing is, it took me 2 weeks to get over the fact that I was scared. Not that I saw it, but I was scared. Because all I could think of was get the hell away.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Because as big as it was, I was not thinking about grabbing my phone, say cheese, and try to focus on it. No, no. And some young punk tried to tell me, "Oh, I would have." I said, "You would have dropped over dead. Don't talk your crap to me. You're a young punk." And he just looked at me. And this is when I was first getting over being afraid. And I'm still not afraid of much of anything, but I come to the realization I'm not a superhuman. I'm just human.
Right.
Absolutely. And these things are monstrous size on them. The muscle tones, the whole 9 yards. So now I don't care about DNA. I really don't. I know they exist. What I want to know is how they do the things they do, why they do it, and what reasons for it. I'm more into learning that aspect instead of finding out exactly what they are.
There's so many different theories out there. There have been so many reports recently where people say that they see it go into a crouched position, pull its hands up in front of its face, and just dematerialize.
I've heard that. I heard it. They've seen jumping through portals.
Yeah.
I can say the one I saw did not jump through a portal. I did not hear it come up to where it was at, where I came down to the thing. And the reason Debbie and Mike stayed back from where I was at, Debbie got kind of scared because something was throwing nuts and stones at us on the left side. So there was one down on the left side of us as we're going down the trail. This one was on the right. So I think that's the other reason why I got so scared, because I'm expecting to see something to the left.
Sure.
And this was on the right. Uh, yeah, it would have been two, Angel. I'm not saying for sure because it could have circled in behind us and came, across the trail behind us and come in. But I'm saying there was at least two. Yeah, you're. Hey, Tim Gayhart's here. He said there's always more than just one, and I've said that. But yeah, I still feel the fear in my heart from this. Yeah, it was a year ago, August, that I had this sighting, and I'll never get over that feeling. Now the UFO I saw, uh, you helped vindicated me tonight. Thank you. We saw two large orange spheres flying through the sky when we came out of church when I was a teenager. With my mom and dad, and my sister and brother, the preacher and two of his kids were standing on the steps of the church. And these two orange spheres were going slowly like this in unison straight across the sky. And we're staring at it and they were orange with the orange tail coming off of them. And then all of a sudden, this guy come running up the street. You guys see that? You see that? Yeah, it went. My dad said, "Yeah, it went that way. Keep going."
Yeah.
So he took off. Yes, they do, Angel. All right, Angel puts in there. I believe they live in family units, and Tim's saying they do live in family groups. Marv's camp. Dan knows this camp. There's a unit of 9 down there. Now, I've been investigating. Now, this is down on the Butler-Armstrong County line where we're investigating this. This is an ongoing investigation for me there. Dan's been to that camp a few times. He's good friends with the guy that owns it. I became good friends with them from going down there and starting to investigate. And yeah, they're family units. And there's some people call them family units, some people call them pods, some call them family groups. To me, it's a big group. There's that group down there. So now with the, let's get back to you, Dan, on this too. Now with you're going to be coming my paranormal conference, the Penn Ohio Paranormal Conference in March, and going to be speaking there for us, which I'm so thankful for. You got so much information to give out to everybody. And I'm honored that you're going to do this. Now that's in March 25th. When is the Butler?
The Butler Conference, we normally have it in April, but unfortunately, next year it's not going to be until May 20th. It's a Saturday, and it'll be at the Tanglewood Senior Center in Lindora, PA. And like I stated at the beginning of the podcast, we're going into our 16th year. And we generally have anywhere from 375, 400 plus people in attendance. So it's a good day. And if you watch the Facebook, we advertise heavily on there. We also advertise several podcasts, several media sites.
Yeah.
So once we get closer to the event, there'll be a lot more information readily available.
Which, believe me, I modeled my conference after Dan's, and it is an awesome conference. I I enjoy myself. I learn a lot there. Got a lot of top-notch vendors there. On top of that, the speakers are always phenomenal. Um, Angel got a question for you, Dan.
Sure.
I I know her story about UFOs, and she lost time. She wants to know, why did she lose time with her UFO experience?
Generally, in time loss, that's a good indication of abduction. And she more than likely, depending on how much time she uh, can account for, uh, but she more than likely has been abducted.
Uh, Yep. I didn't want to tell her that. I was hoping she'd show up while we were talking. She can question that. Um, I hope that didn't freak you out too much. And the thing is that, I know what I saw with the UFOs and those orange spears. And I had ghost sightings. Uh, Actually, I had a little girl living with me and my wife. Yeah, it explains everything there, doesn't it, Angel? Okay. She says it explains everything. Um, but the thing, too, is, you know, I seen a Bigfoot. I seen UFOs. I seen these orbs. I seen ghosts. I'm trying to figure out, am I some kind of magnet toward this stuff or what? Because it makes me question more.
Well, a lot of times, single individuals will have encounters. Uh, there are reports that they have one, two, half a dozen, and then it stops. There are reports where several siblings within a family unit will have multiple encounters. And then there are reports where whole entire families, the lifetime of encounters with these beings. And I really don't think that chemistry makeup has anything to do with it. There's a lot to where you have to be at the right place at the right time. But there are so many different variations. I really don't think anyone can, you know, come to a conclusion as far as the exact cause.
Right. And I believe that one part you said, right place, right time. Um, I was in the right place, right time last August to have my sighting. I wouldn't say right place for sure because it's 15 feet, but um, but seeing the UFO there when we were teenagers out at the bus stop, that is just awesome thing, and it totally got us all fired up, jittery, and I was a hyper kid anyhow. My mom was still
There's
alive. She would have even said that, but
there's no doubt that our government possesses craft that would be beyond your wildest comprehension. Uh, Actually, 1946, there were, they say Roswell happened in 47. In 1946, there were two UFOs retrieved by the military. And, if you take our military and the stealth fighters, the stealth bombers that they have, they claim that they were working on those back in the 1940s. Can you imagine if we had that technology back in 1940?
oh
What
man,
do we have today? And no doubt through alien craft being retrieved by the world governments, they've been able to take through reverse engineering. And, we have craft that are made by human beings here on Earth, and we have retrieved craft that have been made off planet.
All right. Like you said, reverse. Uh, and I believe the stealth bomber is because of that.
Absolutely.
I said that from day one when they come out and said they got the stealth bomber. I went, that's alien crap there. That, nothing but alien crap. They got the information from that. And people just looked at me. I said, look at the design of it. Look at the shape of it. And it goes stealth. Our scientists are not that smart yet.
Yeah.
They're retrieving stuff from someone else. It's somewhere else. And it's not from this world. And people thought I was crazy saying that. But yeah, I agree. Wait a minute, Angel Wright. Oh, you have a big story for Bigfoot story for me. I'll have to tell you about later. But that crazy UFO chase was something else. I think she lost about 2 hours on that.
She needs to document it. Subconsciously, something comes up. She needs to write it down. She might have 6 months or a year of nothing more than gibberish written down on a tablet. But every time something comes to mind, that's her subconscious coming out and bringing it forth. And eventually it'll form a picture that she'll be able to get a better understanding as to what transpired.
Yes. And it's kind of, like I said, like my journal, that micro study area I'm doing. We all got to do that to learn more from what's going on. But that makes a lot of sense with her losing those 2 hours and that. Write that stuff down. Then try to, if you think of something else about it, write it down. And yeah, like Dan said, Angel, it can be look like a bunch of gibberish, but then it all come together. So, you know,
We lose connection. You still with us there, Bill?
I'm sorry about that. I lost the internet connection here.
Yeah, I thought maybe it might have been on my end. Uh,
Well, as
'Cause,
soon as mine went off, I said, "Oh no, that's on my end." I'm yelling at the grandkids and everything. But yeah, um, sorry about that.
it's all right, Bill.
And they're all on PlayStation, Xbox, and tablets. It's like, get off the internet. And we got 5Gs and everything. Um, but anyhow, we've been at it for over an hour and a half now. Anyhow,
We've been at it that long.
yes, sir.
Oh wow,
It's 8:38 now.
time
Uh,
flies.
oh, it sure does. Um, but yeah, we covered a lot here too, Dan. I'm very impressed with a lot of that.
Didn't even
Yeah.
scratch the surface, Bill.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know. And but like what I was saying with the orbs and the UFO sighting, uh, I don't lie about that stuff. I don't lie about my Bigfoot experience. I and I get upset when people try to belittle other ones about their sightings.
Yeah, I do too.
Now, I got thick skin. I just tell them, I don't give a damn if you believe me or not. But
Yeah,
you start belittling other ones because you want to be a bully and don't believe, it ain't gonna happen on my watch. Because
amen.
I'll step right on them, and I have, and that's like with my group. I know Angel with her group, uh, Mary Fabian with her group. We don't put up with that. Uh,
No, there's no place for that.
no, we're all into learning and figuring things out and trying to make sense of what we're seeing and finding out. And
Absolutely.
and I'm all about sharing what I learned. And went on a Bigfoot investigation, Indiana County, right on the Indiana Cambria County line. It 8 miles from my property I had down in Indiana County that we just got rid of, which I might be getting back. I'll find out soon. I'm kind of excited about it, but that's a different story I got to tell you about, Dan. Um, the thing is, girl saw it, a Bigfoot, as she was driving by. She just had her camera out and was taking pictures. She put her camera down. Her mom was driving because she's always taking pictures of the mountainsides and that. She just put her camera down, and there it was.
I'll be darned.
And she's yelling at her mom, turn around, turn around. There was a Bigfoot. There was a
Yeah.
Bigfoot. So they end up turning around, coming back, and it wasn't in that area.
Oh boy.
It was already up over the hillside. That was on a Wednesday. That Saturday, I made plans to go down. That Saturday, I'm getting there. I'm going to check this out. I'm going to investigate that area. And now I lived down there for quite a few years, and I got some really good friends down there. And I joined the fire company, the neighboring fire company, these twin brothers. It was kind of funny because they found out I was in Bigfoot, and they start messaging me. They had 2 sightings.
Oh wow.
And I said that area is Bigfoot area. It's part of the Chestnut Ridge area anyhow, near the beginning of the Chestnut Ridge. So I contacted both of the brothers. Well, the one had to work Saturday. The other one says, well, message me when you come in. I might be able to show up. Well, he beat me to the spot when I called him. And me and Mary went. I had Bill Tippins there, Mr. Bearclaw, and Kathleen is her name. This other first time for those two going out. Bill Tippin does a lot of hiking. He's not totally sure what he's looking for. So we're going through the woods, and Micah, he takes off his way, and we're going along this one area. And I'm pointing things out to these people and telling them, you got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Number one, always think outside the box. When you look at something, especially when you're Bigfooting or any other paranormal activity or cryptid activity, decipher it. Is it natural? Is it weather? Is it man-made? Could
Right.
another animal do it? Whatever it is, you got to try to debunk it before you can say it's a possibility. This is it. And they go, just a possibility? Yeah, just a possibility. Because
Right.
I didn't see it do it. So I'm not going to say it was it. It's a possibility. Well, we get done after a few hours of investigating. We found a nest, found prints, found a couple structures, found some tree breaks. And the print was coming up the hill from where she saw it at.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm saying she had a Class A sighting. Okay. Uh, and she feels better because a lot of her family don't believe in this stuff.
Yeah.
And even though she does, they try to treat her like crap about it. And she's a young lady, nice lady, very nice. And she feels very vindicated that I came out and says, yes, you had a Class A sighting. Like on a couple tree breaks, I was showing them. I said, on the one, I said, see how it got kind of a twist in the brakes and it splintered? Yeah. I said, this was very green when it broke like that. I said, if it wasn't green, it wouldn't have splintered
Right.
apart. Then I showed them another one. I said, look close. Tell me what's wrong with this picture. They says, wow, it was green when it broke. I says, yeah, does it look like it was twisted? Yeah, a little bit. So what are you going to say? I think it's impossible. I says, no, it's not. What? No, it's not. I says, take a look at the center of it. Now, this is 2 inches around.
Yeah.
It was rotted in the middle. A wind did that. You know, and I pointed out, they went, oh, well, we didn't look that close. You
Yeah.
gotta look close.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then once we got done for the day and we're back at base camp area where Mary stayed, since Mary can't hike, which I made sure, you know, when I told her we were going and she wants to go along, she asked how hilly it was. I says, you're base camp. You're not hiking up and through all that. And so we get back and they told Mary that they learned a lot from me just because I talked my way through it, teaching what I knew.
Yeah.
And show them how to look at stuff and how to look for it. And I says, and don't do like Micah did and take off on us. He knows this area. I says, we try to stay in close contact. I says, look, Micah called me because he had to use the phone to call me because couldn't hear each other yell at each other like we did a couple times. They says, yeah. I said, so you got, you know, the only reason I didn't make him stick around with us is because I know he knows this area.
Yeah.
He grew up here. I go, so that's why. So you didn't know. And then we went on about discussing the other stuff. We found a dead turkey bones. All right, picked clean. One turkey feather, but the bones were stacked neatly together.
No kidding.
All right. that told me that was no animal that picked the bones clean.
Right.
And no, it didn't die just falling apart like that either. Something stacked it like that. And I pointed that out to them too. It's when you find things like that, you got to think outside the box. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the bones were stacked up next to the feather. The feather was left there and it was pressed down into on the leaves and everything that were there, and the bones were stacked up next to it.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, it was neat. It was neat finding that. I heard stuff like that. But we still need to figure out more from our side. Oh, Rooster's out there. Stuart Clark. He's from Ohio. Dan, this Stuart is boots on the ground, totally in the woods all the time. And he's always investigating. Love him to death, man. He's a great investigator. And he don't pull no punches. He even tells you that I'm not seeing anything here.
Yeah.
Or if he's seeing something, he tells you. Now, he's another one that I got a lot of respect for. He's a great guy. He loves getting out there. Yeah, and he shares everything. That's another one. And thanks for showing up, Stu. Appreciate it. But anyhow, Dan, what else you got going on coming up?
Well, our monthly meeting for October, that'll be coming up. Again, meetings are always the fourth Wednesday of the month. Then we'll probably wind it down for the remainder of the year. Have November, December holidays will be coming up. Then we'll resume in January, weather permitting. It's hard to believe how time's flying by, but May 20th, 23 will be the 16th annual Butler Paranormal Conference. We're already we have 5 guest speakers each year. We already have 3 speakers confirmed for next year. Already have the vendors contacting me, wanting to make sure they get a table. And this is probably the earliest anyone's ever contacted me. I've actually had people 3 months ago call me and want a form for a vendor's table. And we have well over 50 vendors. And
Yep.
like I said, 375 plus, 400 plus people turn out every year. It's a one-day event. It's on a Saturday. Doors open to the public at 10 a.m. and we wrap it up at 7 p.m. in the evening. So it's a full day event.
It is. It really is. And I spend the whole day there. And like I said, you got quality vendors there. The speakers are phenomenal. Actually, I stole a couple of your speakers for mine.
Well, nothing wrong with that. That's what it's all about, just
yeah, including you, including you.
We have, and
yes. James Krug. Oh,
great speaker.
Very, very, and I'm so glad he agreed to come. I really am, and because he keeps me like, wow, okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
Keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Yes, and he's a young man.
Yes, he is.
Young and very intelligent. Of course, I got Jamie and Jenny King, and your co-helper, sponsor, or whatever,
Brian and Terry Seach.
Yes, they're speaking for us. Of course, you, Ed Kellerman, And Mike Famlin.
Yeah, Mike Famlin. He's a good speaker.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, you've got a good lineup for your first year, Bill.
Yeah, I do. I think it's an awesome lineup. It's going to. I had to go big to meet your standards.
Well,
the way I look at it, and I'm not. Yeah, I sound like I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm being dead serious. I did do mine because of yours and the way you do yours, and I'm very happy with the way it's all coming together because it's turning to be a big event too.
well, hopefully it'll be the start of many years and nothing but great success.
Yeah, thank you.
And same with your podcast here. I think a lot of good things are to come.
Oh, I do too, and I'm hoping this event in March does take off. Other one says, "Well, you're going to do a second one in a year?" No, no.
It's. I've had people say, "Oh, you should do 2 a year," but it takes a whole year pretty much to put one of these things together and do it right.
Yes, it does, and I don't know how Dan Benoit, or how he does several of them a year.
Yeah,
I don't know how he does it.
He's got to have an army of people working for him.
He got to, but he puts on great events. Yes, he does, and he does. Well, he has one this weekend again. It's like, how do you do that?
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. I'm doing all the work here. So it's like, the first one in, it's trial and error, but I had great help from Brian and Terry too.
The first one is always the roughest. It's always the hardest because, once you have it, you can critique it from there to move to the next one and so on and so forth.
Well, like I said, I'm patterning after yours. I've seen how you do yours and that, and it's not easy. And people don't realize the amount of work that goes into this, and and the records you got to keep, and the money I'm putting out up front.
Oh yeah.
So people don't understand that. That's why I'm hoping it's a good success. So I take the money I make from this one to put into the next one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Well, if there's anything that we can do to help you advertise, whatever, just let us know, Bill.
Oh, I will, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being one of our speakers.
Well, I'm honored. You're gonna spoil me. I got to be your first speaker on your new venture here, and kick your podcast off. I'm going to be a guest speaker at your first conference. I'm honored.
I'm honored that you're doing this for us. I really am. You're a great guy. You got a lot of knowledge, and I know we barely scratched the surface tonight. And I'm looking forward to hearing you speak in March for us. And hopefully I get to pick your brain through the winter too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But I know a lot of people are interested in your sightings and your knowledge, and not just me. And I'm so thankful that you were able to do this.
It was a pleasure for sure. And, on down the road, hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. We might just bring Dan on to tell us more show. I will post it like that too. But all right, bud, it is a couple minutes to 9 already. Been a great evening. I do appreciate all this.
Well, thank you again.
No, thank you. And Bye, Dan. Nice listening to your stories. That's from Angel. And I'm so glad that you did this. And I'm so glad for our audience tonight. And Angel, I'm going to be calling you here this coming week. I need to talk to you about a couple of things. But other than that, make sure if you guys are in the Butler area or near it, Wednesday night, the fourth Wednesday, the VFW there in Lindora. If Dan posts something different, I'll put it up on my pages. Come to his meeting. They are interesting. They are interesting. Because I'll definitely go and be there. He puts on some great meetings there. Everybody's welcome. Because he's that type of person. He likes to get the word out. But anyhow, you all have a good night. Dan, thank you a million times over, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill. It's been our pleasure.
And here we go. We're off the air.
Good night.
Good night.